I'm in my room thinking that ever since I've created this YouTube channel and the new communities I have, thinking about problems and then solving them has become a major part of my life now. Because being honest, the videos I make are like how to quit anime as a Muslim. If you're a Muslim who watches porn, watch this video. How to study just 1 hour a day and still get 90 percentage. Then in the communities, people ask me about problems like praying, masturbating, porn, and reading Quran, and how to become disciplined and stuff. But before I became someone who could think about and solve so many problems, when I started this journey, I couldn't even fix my sleep and wake up time. But now, after 2 years, I think I can think really well. So, let me show you how you can become a great thinker, or at least a good one for now. First of all, tell me what was one single trait that every single great person had. One of the traits that every single great person had was thinking, being able to think and solve big problems and being able to think into the future and make up plans for the future. Don't believe me? The Prophet peace be upon him was a great thinker. Umar bin Khattab was a great thinker. Albert Einstein was a great thinker. Elon Musk is a great thinker. All of these successful people, no matter which area they were successful in, all of them were great thinkers in some way or another. And then there are you and me. How much time do we spend thinking? I'm talking about conscious thinking here. I'm not talking about like unconscious thinking, because the thinking that counts here is conscious thinking. Conscious thinking means that you are consciously trying to solve particular problems. Like before you started thinking, you said to yourself, okay, in this thinking session, I'm going to like solve this and this and this problem. Now, and then at the end of that session, you solve all of those problems. But like unconscious thinking means that you wake up and you get random thoughts. You're like they're eating something and then you are getting random thoughts. That is unconscious thinking. We are not talking about unconscious thinking because everybody does that, but we are talking about conscious thinking. And so since you agree that all great people were successful thinkers, as I just told you, now we have to become a great thinker ourselves, because we want to be great people. We want to do something big in our life. But for conscious thinking, you need to be consciously like present there, and you need to be like not doing anything that is requiring a lot of your brain points. And so there are two things we need to do here. First thing, you must be consciously present there, and then the second thing is that you must not be doing anything that requires a lot of brain power. And so the first thing is consciously present there. And I think if you have watched a bunch of my videos, I think you already know what I'm going to say here, which is meditation every single day. 3 to 10 minute meditation every single day. Like just start meditating every single day. For the two people who don't know how to meditate, well, just go to a somewhat of a quiet room, sit in a somewhat of a comfortable place, and then go to your phone, go to your clock app. There, set an alarm for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, or 10 minutes, whatever you are feeling like, and then turn on that alarm, close your eyes, and then start focusing on your breath. When you start focusing on your breath, you will naturally lose your focus on the breath. But then when you lose your focus, you bring back your focus on your breath, and that is like one rep of meditation. Your presence has suddenly like just increased by this. And do this again and again and again every single day to see the results in about 1 to 2 weeks. But the second thing we can do is taking deep breaths. Now, how do you take deep breaths? Well, you take deep breaths in a way that your stomach kind of bloats. It kind of comes out. Or you can even take the double deep breaths, which is that you first inhale like this, then you do another small inhale, and then you exhale all of that air out of your mouth. Like this. Like I did not do it properly because I was speaking to you and I was explaining to you in the same time, but you must do it properly, which is first a big inhale, then a very small inhale, and then exhale all of the air out of your mouth. Those are double deep breaths. And if you want to reduce your stress levels as well, they are like magic. The second thing, which is the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video, is not using a lot of your brain points during that thinking session. We use our brain points using two things: while consuming stuff, while consciously consuming stuff, or unconsciously consuming stuff, or while producing stuff. For example, let's say when you are watching YouTube videos, when you're watching a YouTube video, when you're scrolling, when you're watching reels, when you're watching other stuff, like when you're reading books, that is you consuming. But then when you are studying, when you are working on your business, you are like on the producing level. Now, it isn't like really possible to make both of these absolutely zero, but our goal here is to like make them nearly zero during our like thinking session, which we'll talk about later. And so the first thing we can do is be silent a lot. You want to be silent a lot because, like, tell me this one thing. Have you ever solved a very, very big problem while you were talking a lot, while you were yapping, as they say? No, you haven't. Like sometimes, like 1 in 1,000 times in some is something different. Like when you're talking and then suddenly the dots click and you're like, whoa, I just saw that. But that's something different. You want to be so silent that you want to be known as this silent person. But I'm not talking about being shy. There's a difference between being an introvert and being silent, and there's a like being a shy person. A shy person is someone who cannot speak, but an introvert is someone who doesn't want to speak. So a shy person is someone who cannot talk to other people, who cannot be social. He does not know how to go and talk to other people. But an introvert is someone who knows how to do these things, who knows how to go and talk to people. But he just doesn't want to because he wants to be silent and he wants to like be in his mind and like observe stuff. And so I'm not saying that you should be a shy person. No, you should know how to be social. You should read books on being social and stuff. You should know how to do these things. You should know how to go up to a person. If you want to go and talk to a person, you should know that, okay, I want to go and talk to a person. Let's go and talk to a person. I can do that. I know I can do that. You should be that kind of person. So in this way, a true introvert is someone who gets his energy from being alone. For example, let's say that I'm an introvert. Let's say, for example, I'm an introvert. Some people say I'm not. But let's, for example, say I'm an introvert. Now, if I'm an introvert, when I'm alone, I'm going to be like gaining energy. It's like I'm on charging mode. I'm like somebody has put me on charging mode and my charging is increasing slowly but surely. But then when I go into a social situation, it's like somebody is using me. Now, I'm being used. Like as of you, like using the phone analogy. Now my charging is going to decrease slowly but surely. That's the same thing that happens to an introvert. When he is alone, he gains energy, his charging increases. But when he is in social situations, his charging slowly but surely decreases. That is what a true introvert is, not someone who cannot talk. It's someone who doesn't want to talk. And so this means that most great people were introverts. Don't believe me? The Prophet, peace be upon him, was an introvert. How do we know this? Because he told us in a hadith that you should like only speak good or remain silent. Like something along those lines. I know it's not the exact words, but something along those lines. And like we know from his seerah that he was an introvert. He used to speak little. He used to remain silent a lot. And I know it is very hard because you kind of get into the flow state. For this, I have something for you, which is called mewing. And I know the main purpose of mewing is not to be silent or to become silent. If you know what mewing is, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what mewing is, it's basically when you take your tongue, your tongue is flat in your mouth, like this when you're not speaking. But you take your tongue and you bring it to the roof of your mouth. If I am butchering this, please go to the Chrome and search it up, because it's really hard for me to explain this without a skull in my hand, and I don't know from where I'm going to get a skull in my hand. You want to start mewing when you are in social situations, and then secondly, make it a habit to be the last person to speak. If somebody asks for the opinion of all of you, be the last person to speak. Be the last person to speak there, because I know we all want to be the first person to speak. We all want to be we all want to be the person who seems very confident and stuff. But be the last person to speak. Why? Because if you speak the last, you will gain other people's perspective, and then you will be able to bring up an idea. You will be able to give a suggestion, which is taking in all of other people's perspective, and then you have your own perspective in it as well. And then it's kind of the best suggestion. And then thirdly, I'm reading this book here called 48 Laws of Power, and it's really good. If you want to learn about stuff, it is a really, really, really good book. And one of those laws in there is that appear dumber than you are. Why? Because always have an ace up your sleeve. Because if you always have an ace up your sleeve, you will always be able to surprise people. People will think okay, this person is all this. I know everything about this person. But then you have an ace up your sleeve. And then, boom, when you show that ace, people will be like, bro, you can do this as well. What? Who are you? You can do so many things. What kind of person are you? People will be amazed. I know it is very hard to like appear dumber than you are, because we all want to do the opposite. We all want to appear smarter than we are. But I'm telling you to do the opposite. Appear dumber than you are. And I know you might not have any ace up your sleeve right now, but if you are on self improvement, I promise you, I guarantee you, if you commit yourself to this path to 2 years, your entire personality will be full of aces. If somebody does not know you and he starts to get to know you, he will be like, bro, who the hell even are you? You can do so many things. How can you do so much stuff? Like, I am amazed at you. Even if there are ups and downs, even if you fall off here and there for a week or something like that, you go back to the bad habits or something like that, but you still keep going on this path, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of where you fall off and stuff. Your personality will be full of aces after 2 years. And then we get to the actual protocol of thinking, which is think time. Let me explain what it is. Let's say that you want to solve so many problems, but you don't have time to solve those problems. What if you what if you fix a time for thinking? Meaning, you fix a time in which you sit down and you actually sit down to solve problems. The main goal of that time is you solving problems. And so how do you do this? Well, you first go in a somewhat of a quiet room, you take a pen and you open your diary or register, whatever you have decided will be your thinking journal, and then you write down the date of that day, and then you start thinking about problems. You start thinking about different things of life. You just sit there without your phone, without your laptop, without internet, nothing. You just sit there and you just stare at walls and stuff, and your brain will tell you different things. Now 90% of the things it tells you will be not problems, will be like past memories and stuff. And so we don't want to write those things here. We write those things in journal, which is something different, but we don't want to write those things here. And so just ignore all of those things. But the 10% of the things your brain tells you will be the problems of your life. Will be a problem, something like, okay, how can I study less? Okay, my grades aren't really improving, even though I have been trying for the past 2 months. How can I do this? How can I solve this? Now, imagine most people never think about that. Most people never think that, okay, my grades haven't been improving for 2 months straight, even though I have been really trying. How can I change this? Most people just keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again. But we want to be different. We want to think actually. We want to actually change. And then when your brain tells you that problem, those 10% of problems, you want to start writing down those. And then you want to actually solve those. Just not like for example, let's say your brain tells you, okay, for 2 months straight, I've been trying to improve my grades, but nothing has been changing. My grades haven't been improving. You first write down this, and then you start thinking, okay, how can I do different? How can I change this? How can I make sure that my grades do improve the next time I put in the effort? Okay, maybe I can do this. Okay, maybe this subject is the constraint of my entire grades, of my entire result. Okay, I should focus more on this subject. Those things will only come to your mind if you sit down to think. Then when to do this, when to do think time? Well, the best thing I would say is every single day, but at least once a week, do a think time session. Do a think time session where you think over the entire week. And then you can also solve problems. You can also do thinking while you are doing things which are a habit to you. For example, driving, if it is a habit for you, eating, taking a bath, things that do not require a lot of brain points, things that your brain can do kinda unconsciously, and you can be thinking about different things. You want to be thinking while doing those things as well. You want to be thinking while driving, because being honest, bro, it takes me 25 minutes to reach my campus, and I don't want to waste my 25 minutes on just driving there. And I don't want to be getting random thoughts when I'm driving to the campus. So instead, I deliberately solve problems. So how do you make sure that you solve problems while doing these habits that do not require a lot of your brain points? Well, before you start doing that thing, before you start driving, you want to think of a particular problem that you want to solve while doing that thing. And then let's say that Einstein was alive today. And we all know the famous Einstein equation, E is equals to mc square. And he had just sat down to think about that equation. And that equation was just about to come into his mind. He was just about to know that E is equals to mc square. The dots were just about to connect. He was this close. Boom, his phone rings. and he finds out that a random person has just sent him a random reel or like liked his photo or something like that. Now all the thoughts are gone. He will never know that E is equals to MC square. The world will never know E is equals to MC square. And why am I telling you this? Because this is happening to most people every single day. This is happening to you nearly 100 times, not low, maybe not 100 times, but at least 10 times every single day. You are about to get a good idea, but then you distract yourself using your phone. You either get a notification or you deliberately go onto a social media app. The best thing is to delete social media, but if you don't want to do it, I get your reasons. If you don't want to delete social media, okay. But one of the things I want you to do is go to your phone and turn off notifications, all notifications for every single app. Go to the settings app and there turn off all notifications for every single app, even WhatsApp, bro, even Instagram, even Snapchat, every single app. Because, bro, guard your brain points, guard the thoughts it is giving you. Because if you don't guard it, then who else will? Because it is your brain, not anybody else's brain. And then the second thing I want you to do is put your phone on silent mode forever. Your phone is going to be on silent mode forever. Nobody will be able to disturb you using your phone. And then the third thing I want you to do is put your phone on do not disturb mode. I know all of these things sound very crazy or something like that, like really extreme, but you have to be extreme in this world to get the results. You cannot get unconventional results by following the conventional path. You have to be different if you want to see different results. People, I know everybody has their notifications turned on and it's like normal, and me telling you to turn off all notifications and put your phone on silent mode and put your phone on do not disturb mode is really like weird and extreme and stuff. But do that and I can guarantee you in a week you will be thanking me that, man, thank God I took action on those steps on that day. And then you will never ever want to put your phone off of these things. Then only go onto social media apps once a day. Just you go onto the social media apps, you go onto Discord, you go onto Snapchat, you go onto if you use Snapchat, I really hate you, bro. But that's a different topic. You go onto Instagram, you go onto Facebook, you go onto WhatsApp, you combine all of those social media apps at the same time. I have now I have 15 minutes allotted to socials in my entire day. That's the time in which I check my socials, and then I'm on those socials at that time, and then I'm never on those socials for the entirety of the day. Maybe sometimes I go on there because I have some work to do or something like that, but not for just checking messages. No, I don't do that. And then lastly, the last thing you must do to become a great thinker is dip yourself into areas where your creative mind is engaged. Meaning, in simple words, you going into the environments that when you go into those environments, you listen to the people talking there, your mind starts getting good ideas. Your mind starts thinking, oh, that is a really good idea. That thing that person just said, oh, I can implement that thing here. Oh, I really needed to hear this thing. Oh, wow, this thing is really good. But you might be thinking, I don't have that environment, and I know most people don't have that environment these days. Even I think I don't have that environment. But we have something called the internet, which means you can go to any environment of the world, nearly any environment of the world, sitting in your house. What I'm telling you is, in simple words, I'm telling you to start learning and start watching podcasts. And start watching full-length videos like the FLV. Start watching full-length videos on topics you are interested in. So if you are right now interested in bulking and gaining weight and gaining muscle, start going and watching videos on that topic. If you are interested in business, you start going and watching videos on business. If you are interested in studying and improving your grades, you start going and watching videos and improving your grades and studying. And trust me, there are 2-hour long guides out there on just studying, where they go by the step-by-step process of the scientific process of how you can memorize things faster and you can get better grades using those things but still study less. And then the second thing we have is books, bro. Books will change your life. I know books seem overrated, but trust me, if you don't read books consistently, you don't know the power of reading books, bro. You're really missing out on those things. Why? Because when you are reading a book, it's like you are talking to or listening to the person who is a master of that area, of that topic. So if the book is on social techniques and stuff, if the book is how to influence people, like 92 tricks to talk, like how to talk to anyone, or books like that, it's like you are talking to us and to an expert, to a master of that area of life. That is the power of reading books. And so the next time you are reading books, don't just say that I am reading a book. No, instead, if you are reading a book on laws of power, say that I'm learning about the laws of power from a master of laws of power. Change the perspective by which you view these things. So learn a lot. Because being honest, bro, I would not have been here. I would not have been able to make like 120 videos on YouTube and like give advice in those videos and like become this kind of person if I had not spent 2 years learning about these things. Because being honest, before I started this YouTube channel, nobody knows this, that I spent around 2 years learning about stuff, gaining knowledge, learning, reading books, watching full-length videos, watching podcasts on topics I was interested in. Because if you do not learn, you can never take action. If you don't even know what to do, how can you do that thing? And so, if you want to join a community of like-minded people, if you're a male, click the first link. If you're a female, click the second link in the description to join the communities. And so, do good. And I'll see you in Jannah. I better see you there, bro. Inshallah.